Well, let me start with the rate side and then come back to the components of it, as you say. We've been very clear in the message today on rates that we're not giving a steer on future rates, and we didn't do that last time either. So we will in a sense be shaped and driven by the evidence as it emerges, and I just want to be very clear on that. We're not giving a steer one way or the other today. On growth, yes, we have upgraded our growth forecast. I mean, I would draw a distinction between change and levels here. I mean, change, yes, it's one. I think it may be the biggest upgrade we've ever done. The level is still quite low, though. I mean, let's be honest. Mm-hmm. The reasons for the upgrade: lower energy prices feeding through. That's very helpful. Fiscal policy, we've obviously incorporated the budget since we last did a forecast, and that is providing more support. And the global economy is providing more support. I think, China, for instance, I would point to there. The end of the zero COVID policy was less, I think, disruptive than many of us feared it might be. And I think fourth and finally, I would say the UK economy is more resilient. Employment has been more resilient than we feared and thought it would be, so that's good.
How much confidence should we actually have in these forecasts? Because it was not so long ago that the Bank of England were telling us that we were going to see 4 negative consecutive quarters of growth and a very long recession. None of that has panned out.
Well, can I start by making an important, quite fundamental point about forecasts, and certainly our forecasts? They are conditional forecasts. They're not unconditional, they're conditional. By that I mean they are conditional on financial market prices, they're conditional on commodity prices, they're conditional on government policies. So as those conditions change, we change our forecasts. So there has been a very big change in energy prices, for instance, since our last 2 forecasts. And that feeds through into the forecast. So the forecast does change in that sense, and it's appropriate that it changes. But I just want to emphasize that conditional point. The second thing is that we're living in a world of very big shocks. Those shocks were very hard to predict at the time. I would say impossible to predict. Sadly, I'm afraid the war in Ukraine is a terrible thing, and it was not possible to predict. I'm afraid that would happen in advance. We have to deal with the consequences of it, and understanding the consequences of it is hard to forecast. So we have to deal with all these things, which is why our forecasts do change and do evolve.